Welcome, ladies. This is your 10:05 workshop with Wendy Carricker, our GFWC Second Vice President, who is our special guest for the 2021 118th California Federation of Women's Clubs Convention. Wendy, welcome.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I mean, you really have no idea how fun it is to see all your faces. Yeah, I wish I could be there and hug you all and all of that, but this has been a lot of fun. You all have really accomplished a lot, and congratulations to your technology team. So the name of this workshop is What Did She Say? And it in a roundabout way is about membership and leadership, but it's about ourselves as well. So think about what you say when you're talking about your club. And first of all, there's a disclaimer here. This workshop is not about anyone attending this convention at all. It's about some fictitious woman somewhere else in the world, okay? Got that? So how many times do we leave a meeting and stop in the parking lot for the meeting after the meeting? Anyone been to any of those? Or maybe there's a phone call before the meeting to see what might happen at the meeting. So you have to talk about the meeting before the meeting, and then you still have to talk about the meeting after the meeting. Well, during one of those meetings after the meetings, I overheard someone, not anyone that we know, say, I don't understand why those women are even here. You know, they stand up at the end of the meeting and they all say the call it for club women, but they don't even listen to what they're saying. They don't listen to those words at all. And I thought, wow, you know, well, that may very well be true, but wow. So that kind of stuck in the back of my mind with a lot of other chocolate and fabric and thread and stuff. And when it became my turn to be state president, I thought maybe we shouldn't be saying the collect at the end of the meeting. Maybe we should say it at the beginning of the meeting so that those words stay in our hearts and in our minds, and you know, we don't get ugly at meetings, or we don't say anything that unkind. So that's what we did. We did that at the beginning of every meeting, and I don't know if it helped or not. I think there were still meetings after the meeting, but the thing is it's our duty to each other and to those Federation sisters who made sure there would be a Federation for us, that we support each other, that we fight for each other, and most of all, that we be kind to each other. When you talk about what happened at a club meeting or even a member in a not positive way, people, your family, or whoever you're saying that to, they hear you. The first question they're going to ask you is, why are you a member of that club? If that's the way it is, why are you there? But what they're really thinking is, there's no way I'd ever join that club. I don't want to be a part of that. I know sometimes we have to vent, and that's okay. You know, I'm guilty of venting as well, but just be sure when you vent that you're not doing it in public. All those that are in earshot will think our negative thoughts about you. They'll think negative thoughts about your club, its members, and they won't think about what you do in the community. It won't matter one bit. All of the projects in the world will not undo those negative remarks. It takes 5 to 7 positive comments to a person to undo one negative comment. 5 to 7. Think about that with children too. That's, gives me chills. Behind every successful woman should be a tribe of women who have her back. The best way to become a great leader is to follow another leader's examples. We all need to have a mentor, but it's our responsibility to be a mentor. Members are attracted to positive and good that your members and clubs do. They want to know the good things. They really don't want to know, if all they're interested in are the bad things, you don't really want them as a member. If you're holding a bake sale, a yard sale, collecting food, or any similar project, make sure you use signs. Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who is going to benefit from it? Because that's huge for certain generations. They want to know where the money is going and what good it will do. Wear your GFWC club shirts, aprons, hats, balloons, all of those things help. And these are also ways of attracting new members. We actually got a new member. We keep up an alleyway with flowers here in our city. And we actually got a new member while we were all sweaty and pulling weeds, because she stopped and asked us, what does that GFWC on your shirt mean? The General Federation of Women's Clubs stands for different things to each of us. General Federation of Women's Clubs, GFWC. What do those letters mean to you? To some, it means gathering friends with causes. How many times have you been touched or moved by a speaker and motivated to do more? Inspired to get involved because you're with like-minded women who want to make a change for good in their community and their surroundings. GFWC, great fun while creating. Getting together as a group to plant a pinwheel garden, to pull weeds, to build a swing set, recycling or supporting Shot at Life, making sure every child gets the immunization needed, feeding the hungry. We can accomplish so much more together than we can apart. Belonging to GFWC allows us to do many, many great things together. GFWC, gorgeous females working and collaborating. Yeah, before the pandemic, my club had heard about buddy benches at a convention. They're benches that are placed around playgrounds. If a child feels lonely or has no one to play with, then they can sit on a buddy bench and someone will come and join them to make a new friend or ask them to join what they're doing. We collaborated with our schools in our community. My one club, the Old Ladies Club, is old. They're quite elderly, but we have money. So in our community, we have 2 elementary schools, and I contacted them and asked if they would be interested in having a buddy bench on their playground. And they said, sure, yeah, we would love to have that. So we have a shop class at the high school. So I went to the shop teacher and said, would you all be willing to make benches for the playground at the 2 elementary schools? And the shop teacher said, oh, absolutely. If you buy us the wood and the nails and whatever it is we need and kind of give me an idea what you want built, we'll be glad to do it. So high school students built the benches. Our club purchased the wood, the nails, and the paint. Middle school students painted the benches a solid color. The benches were then delivered by the maintenance guy to the 2 elementary schools, and the 2 elementary schools decorated the benches with their hearts and handprints and smiles. And our club went to each location and took pictures and bought refreshments for the children. But we didn't get our hands dirty. We didn't do anything but provide them a way to make these benches. Again, my club is small. We can't do what we used to do, but we do have a little bit of money. The project took some phone calls. It took writing some checks and refreshments. And we now have 8 buddy benches in our schools. And it was in one of the top 10s. We won the Club Creativity Award a few years ago for this project. It was amazing. We put it on Facebook and everybody was like, oh yeah, can you build benches for my building? Can you build benches for my school? And we were like, no, that's not what the project was. But when you're asked to join your club, what's your response? Why did you join? When someone says, why did you join your club? 99% of the time it's because someone asked you to join. That's what most people say. Or it's, oh, my friend drugged me over here. She drugged me to a club meeting. Yeah, you need to drag someone too. And even though we're on Zoom, even though we're remote, you can still drag someone to a Zoom meeting. You can send them the link and invite them to come to a Zoom meeting. It still works that way. GFWC. This is my favorite GFWC acronym. Good Friends with Chocolate. Yeah, sometimes GFWC stands for social gatherings, and why shouldn't it? You know, some business people have the golf course to network. Why shouldn't we have what we do well? Social gatherings with a purpose are not only good icebreakers, but might help spread the word about the volunteer work that we love to do. Some of my best friends, advisors, mentors, and supporters are all club women. Use your powers and your addictions to chocolate to network like crazy. Men and women network differently. I thought it was real interesting. I was in Wyoming last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and someone said, you know, men and women listen differently. That when men are listening and that means got it, move on. Women listen, yes, I'm with you, keep going, tell me some more, you know, we listen differently and we network differently. So use your time with what you're doing. So if you're in the carpool line, or if you're at the office, if you're getting your hair cut, anywhere you go, invite people to your club. Wear your club shirt, wear your name tag while you're running errands. When you're asked what GFWC stands for, tell them that elevator speech that we've all practiced. Tell them why they need to be part of it. Tell them why they need to be involved. And tell them how it will benefit their community and how it will benefit themselves. How much have you learned by being a member of GFWC? If we only had $1 every time we were asked, what is GFWC? Or if we had $5 every time the response was, oh, my mother was a member of GFWC, or my grandmother was a club woman, then you should follow up with, well, then you're a legacy. There is a legacy club, you know, it's a national club you can join. You should visit our club. You should see how things have changed since your grandmother was a member or your mother was a member. Because while we want to embrace our past and support our history, we also want to show them how far we've come, how much we've changed. Help them become leaders, mentor them, because good leaders must communicate, have passion and commitment, stay positive, be innovative, and allow collaboration. But you also have to be able to follow, to share, and to teach. You have to train your replacement. You can't say, oh, it's okay, be a chairman. There's not much to it. You can't do that without helping them along the way. You want them to be better than you. And that's hard for us. That's hard for our egos. We want to have been the best. We want to be the best president this club ever had. You want the president-elect to be the best president the club ever had. And then you want the president after her to be the best president the club ever had. Because otherwise you're going to be the president forever, and then your club is not going to be around much longer. So you have to teach. You have to share what you know and sincerely hope that the leader who follows you does excel. Where would you be if you hadn't attended that first meeting? You wouldn't be sitting on Zoom today, that's for sure. Where would you be if you hadn't said yes? We're all busy. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. We have to prioritize what is worthy of our time and what will leave our communities a better place to live in after we're gone. Because we are gorgeous, giving, graceful, gutsy, good. We're fearless, we're faithful, we're fair, we're forceful, we're friendly, we're forever friends. We're warm, we're wonderful, we're worldly, we're warriors, but we're welcoming. We're certain, we're caring, we're comforting, we're credible, and we're courageous. But we're so much more. We can use technology and we can continue Pandemic or not, we've proven that. And just like with social media, advertising, marketing, networking, whatever you want to call it, we have to share. We have to share information, we have to share our passion, and share our causes. GFWC has offered me so many leadership opportunities, and I'm thankful for each step along the way, even though sometimes it's a big step and sometimes it's a stumble step. I'm still thankful for them because I've learned. Since July of this year, we've realigned the community service programs after input from the Strategic Planning Committee, member surveys, and GFWC Board of Directors, and then it was voted on by the convention on the convention floor. The club manual has been realigned and revised, and information has moved from GFWC website to the member portal. And yeah, I know the member portal is problematic, but the purpose of that member portal is to provide private access to important information and publications, such as the club manual, that have been created for the private use of GFWC members. The member portal also provides access to registration for meetings, webinars, and special events, plus entry to the GFWC marketplace. Every active GFWC member should establish a profile so they can utilize this vital tool for clubs. Information on how to create a profile can be obtained by emailing gfwc@gfwc.org. For additional assistance, call GFWC headquarters. If you're lucky, Tiana will be working, and she is amazing. She has the most pleasant voice and is just the sweetest thing you've ever wanted to meet, and she can figure out where you are and where you want to be and how to get there. She's amazing with the portal, and so are the other staff members. The leadership toolkit and membership information found in the member portal are so important, and they're so valuable to all of our members, and they're there waiting for you. It takes a little bit of time to find them, but you will find them, and we are working on some things to help find information in the portal a little bit easier. I know a few presidents and club members made quick little videos like how to get in the portal so you can register for this meeting or register for the webinars that were happening last summer. The community service programs were realigned after survey studies and after a lot of discussion. The club manual has been streamlined, and all that information is in the member portal. So again, if you need help, call or email GFWC headquarters. They work for you. They're your staff. They're there for you. They're more than willing to help with your profile or reset a password. If your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, and do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. And that's not an original quote. That's from one of my heroes, Dolly Parton. And then from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. I think if we have a little time, Madam President, we can open up for a few questions.
Excellent. And I believe that Joyce is in charge of that, so raise your hands. And Joyce, I love those. And I love that quote. I met Dolly Parton once, and she's somebody who's shorter than I am. That's great.
I stood next to one of her cutout statues once.
So, okay, Joyce, I'm going to hand it over to you. Okay, so we're having some problems there. Oh,
Hey,
there she
you
is.
have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, Wendy, I just had a quick question because I've noticed that one of the changes that I saw in the GFWC website is we had Terry Lynn and the bulb, and then they disappeared. So
Right.
is that in the portal, or we no longer
They are no longer, I mean, there's still companies that do business and you're welcome to use them, but GFWC no longer gets a part of the sales from them. We do not have an endorsed fundraiser right now, other than the cards that there's the card for Office Depot. Do you all know about that little card?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's a discount card, and I'm not sure how that works, but I do think we get a very small percent back from Office Depot for using that if you use that card.
Okay,
But yeah,
thank-
we don't get anything back from the others anymore.
Yeah, I just noticed that because we were saying go to,
Mhm.
I no longer want to say that it's also benefiting, so I
Yeah,
just wanted to ask. Thank
yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Linda, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Joyce. Yes, Wendy, I'm sure that I would call GF once there's somebody in the office there. But perhaps you have the answer for this. When I go into the portal, and I have no problem getting in there, it shows there's one section there as you're logging into the portal that it shows like I belong to two different clubs. It doesn't say the name of their, but I was wondering, how do you, because there's one club that I used to belong to, and how do you just go ahead and get everything condensed, so to speak?
I would probably just send an email and ask
Okay.
them if they can make sure that this is your main club and that the other
Right.
club is no longer relevant, and they can do that for you. Because
Right.
I know I had to have that. I had to do that myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Abby, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you, and good morning, Wendy. I have truly enjoyed both workshops I've been in attendance. What did she say? We have all experienced that before and after, and sometimes in the middle of a meeting.
Yeah.
And I really love what you said about GFWC, gathering friends with a cause. It's just wonderful. Thank you for the experience for today.
Thank you. And there's a lot more. We were on a cruise, and we all had, it was a GFWC cruise, and we were cruising Alaska, and people were like GFWC, and this one man in the elevator said, "Oh, I know that group. It's the Game and Fishing Wildlife Club." And we were like, we just burst out laughing because that's the first time I'd heard that one. Yeah, okay, sure, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions?
It looks like Colleen Jansen has a question.
Colleen, please unmute yourself.
Hi, Wendy. What do you most look forward to in your future as a leader with GFWC?
Oh, the pandemic going away. Really, that's huge right now. It's so exciting because there's so many things that can happen. We were a leader in votes for women. We were a leader in so many things along the way. But look at us now. We're a leader in technology. I look forward to us making sure that we provide what women want, and it's not just a certain age group or a certain demographic, that we truly become unity and diversity and make sure that we are reaching every group of women that we can. So I think that's it. I think it's just the possibilities that could happen in the future.
Wendy Kieran, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Miss Joyce. Hello, Wendy. It's great to see another Wendy
I
in
know.
the and I haven't been ignoring people when they say Wendy because I know they're looking at you. So very quickly, the GFWC had a shirt a few years back, and it said GFWC, girlfriends who care, and I love that. But maybe GFWC might want to produce another shirt that said "Good Friends with Chocolate." That would be a killer shirt. So
I'm keeping that one in my back pocket. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you go. There you go. Thank you for joining us today. It was
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you.
Karen Smart, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome, Wendy, from several time zones away. I'm sure we've confused your days here. I am one of those longtime members who has no excuse for my lack of action in getting onto the GFWC portal. My bad. But my understanding is, I think, just by simply getting onto gfwc.org, there's some obvious click-throughs there that lead you to how you get a login for the portal. Am I right about that?
There is. So really, your club president can register, can put everyone's name in the portal. But if that's not an
Okay.
option, then there's a member login, and you go there, and then you set up your profile, and you put your name in and your email address, and you set up a password, and it's all password protected.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Harry Cook, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Good morning, Wendy. I thoroughly have enjoyed your speech this morning, and I just love being part of a group of women that are looking to succeed. I'm just kind of curious. I'm very new at this. I've only been involved for a couple of years now, but how long have you been involved? And did you just start out as a member and work your way up?
Yeah, I joined my club here I'm in Mount Airy, North Carolina, and I joined my club when we moved to Mount Airy. Where I had lived before, I think there was a club, but I probably would never have been asked because that's kind of where I went to high school, and just wouldn't been asked in that community. But when we moved to Mount Airy, I had a 4-year-old daughter, and my husband then left to work out of town quite a bit, so I was invited at library time, story time with my daughter to come to a club meeting. And, that was a long time ago. And yeah, just a club member and then became club president and just worked my way up. And North Carolina, we still have an age limit for our juniors. So I just knew that I was too old to ever be junior director, and then they changed the bylaw so that I was able to be junior director. And I've just enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, yeah, it's work. It's a lot of work, but it is also a great learning experience.
Sherry Meyer, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, I think I am unmuted, and it's more of a comment. You had spoken about in acquiring members, shall we say, how important it is to just ask people, but also how to use social media. And I do wish to encourage for those that still have newspapers in their towns. Most of those newspapers have calendars of events. Extremely important in all social media and especially the newspaper to say something like, please come, or we'd love to have you. Because that's what happened with me. Like you, I moved to a new town. I didn't know anyone. I didn't really have any access. And one day I was reading the local newspaper and there was a notice for the Tracy Women's Club going to meet. And the ending lines were, everyone welcome.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm everyone. Then I went.
I tell you,
And-
when we get a lot of inquiries is this time of year, because we still give a scholarship to a high school student. And so people come up and they're like, oh, and at first it's mainly they want to know about the scholarship and maybe how they can get it for their child. But then when
Yes.
we explain, what the club is about, and we typically do try and give, if there is a club woman who has a relative that's graduating, we try and steer that scholarship to that child if we can. And so that's a huge part. I mean, if you're a parent and you have children and you want to get them help going through school, through college, and your club offers a scholarship, that's a whole nother reason for being a member, because we do consider members' children first.
If I could just add with what I was saying, if you do put it out and you say, please come, make sure your people at the door have some clue of what to do with this total stranger. Because when I went to that meeting, they didn't know what to do with me. It was threw them into confusion for a few minutes. But
Well,
I
I'm glad
did.
you stuck it out.
Well, I joined after that meeting, and for quite some time in my club, I was known as the member that came in off the street. So please invite people, just invite people through social media.
Yeah,
Somebody will come.
good idea. Thank you.
Sandra Watts, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hello, Wendy. I want to thank you for inspiring me. I'm going to look into the buddy bench because I think that's important. And my theme was libraries and schools for this year and next year because I'm taking on a third year. And I really think that both of these workshops were very valuable. And your comments about the speaking in the parking lot and things like that. I hear some of that. And so it inspired me to be more positive and to help our club grow. So thank you very much.
Well,
So-
people say, you know, oh, I love your Facebook page because you put positive quotes out there. I need that every morning. I need a positive quote.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I go down that rabbit hole just as quick as anyone else. I mean, I can, you know, wake up grumpy and stay grumpy for a few days. So I need positivity. I mean, you have to get past some of that stuff sometimes and just keep moving forward. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I like the part about educating our members to take an office because we were having a lot of trouble getting a VP. So this year I have to make a big push to get a VP because next year will be someone else. So I like the idea of training someone to replace me. So thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all. Thanks.
Terry Cook, you have a question.
I just wanted to comment on Sherry when she mentioned about the newsletter and that's how she got involved in the ladies club, the woman that was speaking, a couple women before. I know I live in Southern California and we have a little local newspaper as well. And it was interesting because they had an ad for a speaker. And I had just retired and didn't know what the heck I was going to do with myself. And the speaker is what intrigued me to go to the meeting. And so, like Sherry, I ended up there and it was like, okay, here I am, you know, and I didn't know what to do with myself either. And I found that the women came up and they were very embracing, you know, and it was interesting because I didn't know anything about the club at all. And by the end of the meeting, not only had I joined the club, but I had volunteered for all these different committees. So there is a lot of ways, not just elevator talk, there are a lot of ways of attracting women to join.
Thank you. I know the first state convention I ever went to, I had no intention of going, but it was close by, and the speaker was Art Linkletter.
Oh my God.
I have always, you know, I mean, I grew up thinking I should have been on his show because I was just such an adorable child and I was never invited to be on his show. So here he was our keynote speaker. And, you know, from then I haven't missed a state convention since, you know, I mean, it was that hook that pulled you in. So, yeah, thank you.
By the way, I was on the Art Linkletter show at one time.
Oh, I'm so jealous. So jealous.
Kathy Hollins, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment how important it is to train up people to take your place, how important it is to train your club members. I'm a member of the San Joaquin Valley District. I used to be a member of the Fresno District, and several years ago, we had no one in the Fresno District who was willing to step up to the district level for leadership. And our only options were either to completely disband, leave federation, join the Yosemite district or join the Kern Valley district. And I feel very blessed that our club and our other club in Fresno, the Fig Garden Women's Club, chose to go with with Kern Valley District because they are an awesome, wonderful, very involved district. And I'm just, I was Leeds candidate for our district in 2019. And that experience was what led me to decide to become club president.
Awesome.
And so that's the issue that we're dealing with, is to try to get our club members to understand that it's so important to step up. It's so important to be involved in your club, because otherwise you don't have a club and you don't have a district.
That's
so
right.
Thank you for this today. And I'm going to take a lot of good information back to my club. We can actually meet in June for a garden party. Thank you.
Terry Messina, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention and actually thank Wendy in the process for the workshop, but I also wanted to mention the importance of every club having a website. I'm a big I Love Lucy fan, and I was watching an episode where Lucy and Ethel were partaking in a women's club event, and quite a few episodes with women's clubs as part of their, their dialogue. So that afternoon, I just wondered to myself, I wonder if women's clubs actually exist today. So what I did is I Googled women's club in my area, and I found one locally 2 blocks away from where I lived. And I had no idea that we had a women's club in our area, but because our club, that was the first year that they did the website, it actually led me to the club, and I found it, and I've been very, very involved in it since. So because of the website, it led me to the club, and I've been so grateful for that. So that website was key for me to finding out about a club that was in my area. And I drove by the clubhouse every day, most likely for the last 2 years, and had no idea it was there.
Wow, that's awesome. I know I live in Mount Airy, which is Mayberry, and Aunt B belonged to a women's club as well. And it wasn't until we moved here and somebody commented on my dishes, and they said, "Oh, you have Blue Willow dishes." And I said, "Well, yeah, because growing up, Aunt B had Blue Willow dishes." And then I realized, oh my gosh, I am living Aunt B's life now in Mayberry. But yeah, it's amazing that there's so many references to women's clubs that people don't even realize. And for the most part, you would think, oh well, they're not going to be positive references, but they really are. It's good training. And we were at the groundbreaking for the suffragette museum that's opening. In fact, they're doing a kickoff tomorrow online, and one of the leaders from Girl Scouts stood up and she said, "How many of you," which the audience was probably 80% women, "how many of you were Girl Scouts?" And every one of us raised our hands. I mean, it was just, it's that same kind of training about giving of yourself to others that just continues right on. But yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And it was interesting. That was the first year that the website was put up, and they weren't sure if they were going to have a website, but they decided to just see if it would even bring any members in. And it brought me in. I would have never found it otherwise. Even though I drove by every day, I would have never found it. But the website led me to a place that was just right there in my own neighborhood.
Wow, that's awesome.
I see no other hands raised. Are there any other questions? Then Pam, back to you.
It's so fabulous. I love hearing about Blue Willow. I did theater for a living. I have to tell you, every theater in their prop department has Blue Willow dishes, because every classic American play with a dining room, they put the Blue Willow on stage. So I love that. And I'm so happy Terry's in my district. Go Marina. So I'm glad that you found that. Now you don't know me very well, Wendy, but most of the people in this room know that I would be screaming at the podium about anybody from Marina getting up. So it's just in my nature. Anyway, we want to thank you for coming today and coming this whole weekend. Yes, please unmute yourselves and let's give her a big round of applause.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Great job.
Thank you.
Good job.
I'm
Thank
sure
you,
Wendy
everybody.
looks forward to seeing some of us in Atlanta, maybe some of us. I don't know if you're going to be at the WSR board meeting, you know, all the other little things we've got going on, because you can't keep a good club member down. We are going to go through to take on some of the things that you talked about. I'm calling it the Back to Basics summer workshops. And we're going to talk about a lot of the positions. And I think that that is very important because they've kind of morphed into other things. And we have to remember, we cannot expect anybody to do anything we have not already asked them to do. And yet our bylaws, we always say it's in the job description. It's like 3 sentences. It's not, it's so much more.
Or as designated by the president.
I worked for a city, they'd say, and other miscellaneous jobs. And I'd ask every year, I go, what does that mean this year?
Yes.
But yeah, we need to get back to that because I know I personally, as your CFWC president, I CC Barbara Briley Beard on absolutely everything because she's going to have the job and she needs to know what is coming her way. So I think that it's funny. And I loved your thing about the parking lot. I call them parking lot meetings. There's also bathroom meetings. And I remember the first time I used gossip at a meeting in a speech, you could have heard a pin drop in the room. I said the G word, gossip, because it'll kill us.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
We're our own worst enemies. I mean, you know, we're the best known, the worst known secret. I don't know. People don't know who we are. And, but we're our own worst enemies too, because, you know, I mean, my youngest daughter's like, Mom, I would never. It's because she's heard me, you know, she's heard me vent, but she is a member anyway. So I pay her dues whether she likes it or not.
Yay. But we're going to have some new members tonight. Yes. Or this afternoon, I should say.
Awesome. Yeah. You have a new club, right?
Yes. A new juniorette club coming in.
Oh, awesome.
Young boys and young girls. And so we're very excited. GFWC Hope. Yeah. They're going to be fabulous. So any last words, Wendy, as I clear my throat? Sorry.
Thank you all so much. I mean, I know it's not ideal, but it really has been, it has been great. And I mean, listening to the awards and everything yesterday, oh my gosh, you know, so much to be proud of. So many accomplishments. You all are rocking it out here out there on the West Coast.
In the West. Yes, the Wild West sometimes. So ladies, without further ado, we are headed back to the general workshop room for just a few things. Thank you. We'll see you in a few.
Thank you.